Someone asked me a while ago who I was going to cover next for my SF4 Omega series, and I said Ibuki, but after saying that, I ended up making the Viper video since she was announced for 6. I feel kinda bad about that, so let's do the Ibuki video for real. Plus, it'll be funny to do the 2 super jump characters of the game back to back. On that note, I can detect no differences in her super jump. It still has a weirdly large amount of landing recovery if you empty jump. This is me holding up after landing. This recovery is cancelled if you do an air normal. You can still cancel into it like a special move. Or use it to super jump cancel ultra, just like Viper. Interestingly, it's Ibuki's normal jump that's changed. In Ultra, she's got a very floaty jump, but now she's noticeably quicker. Her air target combos don't need the direction, but are otherwise the same. Her jump medium kick now has a very large hitbox. In Ultra, it was very small and hard to use, and Ibuki players typically use jump light kick instead, but here it's more like the SF3 hitbox. Neutral jump hard punch hits on both sides. Honestly, it might have been like that in Ultra, I have no idea, but you can attack on the way down now out of Tsujigoe, so it actually has some relevance. Also, you can now juggle into air throw. Air throw has a set amount of recovery, and once it ends, Ibuki is just instantly grounded and able to act. It looks super jank if you land the air throw high up and Ibuki just snaps back to the ground. As for her grounded normals, they're similar but with some interesting little differences here and there. In Ultra, close jab starts her punch TCs but has terrible frame advantage for linking, but here it's +5. In scenarios where you're not sure if you'll get close or far jab, you can link medium kick either way. Medium punch can now be cancelled into special moves. Crouch medium punch has been massively sped up, going from 8 frame startup down to 5. This gives you tons of ways to link into it. The damage and startup are the same as medium kick, but it actually goes farther and pushes out less, making it dramatically more consistent in combos. Amusingly, it's +4, which means you can even link out of it. Far hard punch is a completely new normal. It's 8 frame startup and knocks down. It does cancel, but since it knocks down, you don't get neckbreaker. You can only link into it from far light punch, but it's quite good there thanks to its high damage. Close hard kick is now 5 frame startup, down from 6. The single frame allows you to link it from close light punch and crouch light punch. It launches much higher, which changes your juggles, but air throw seems to be the best. Crouch hard punch is really interesting. It's now 2 hits. You can jump cancel it, then go to air kunai, which is plus enough for Ibuki to link out of on the ground. On release, Ibuki had an infinite where she could crouch hard punch, air kunai, then do a grounded combo where she links into crouch hard punch, which would allow her to repeat the sequence indefinitely. I think it was far jab into crouch hard punch, but that link doesn't work anymore. There's a number of changes to Ibuki's command normals. Her slide is now done with down towards light kick, which is a really annoying input actually. Down back plus throw is how you input crouch text in this game, which is one of your main defensive resources. When Ibuki fights characters with ambiguous side switches like Blanca or Abel, her crouch tech can come out as a point blank slide if she blocks the wrong way, which is unsafe on hit and punishable on reaction. It's still possible to combo out of a spaced slide. It goes from -5 on hit to +5 if you're at max range. Your overhead is now down towards medium kick. It's a bit better on block, but does less damage. You can still link out of it. Back medium punch lost some damage on its second hit. You can now cancel it into hard punch as a new TC. The whiff is so fast you can actually use it in anti-air juggles if you don't want to side switch. For the record, the side switch anti-airs still work, and in fact are better than Ultra thanks to your improved juggle routes. Back medium kick has been moved to back heavy kick. It's much faster at 7 frame startup. The damage is a bit higher and it's a good poke in neutral. Interestingly, it's now +5, and if you land it point blank, you can link out of it. It's her strongest link, I think, but you get a bit more damage out of her crouch fierce to air kunai starter. Also, the TC out of it into her overhead now combos on counter hit. Ibuki's old far hard punch is now towards hard punch. Amusingly, this means you can now do it point blank. I can't detect any mechanical changes. The TC out of it is stronger, and it knocks down now. The jab strong fierce TC lost some damage, and the far jab TC gained some damage. All of her TCs into down hard kick now air reset the opponent rather than inflicting a knockdown, reducing their damage since you can't juggle out of them. This is again reminiscent of Third Strike Ibuki. Also, she has two new TCs. One is that back medium punch to heavy punch, which I showed earlier. The other is medium punch to towards light kick. Alright, that about covers her normals. Now for her special moves. The main time you used Air Kunai in Ultra was ambiguous meaty cross-ups, but the lack of Okizeme in Omega really nerfs that. So I guess you're just using it in neutral. The landing recovery is better, and I think Ibuki descends faster after doing it. This makes it quite good as a dive kick of all things. You can do a kind of low jump and then combo out of it on the ground. Also, it has juggle potential now. Sadly, you can no longer do it on back jumps, though you can still do the EX version. Light Tsumuji is now always only one hit, and it knocks down. It's a bit faster, and combos from all her lights. Medium Tsumuji is now one hit with an extra hit you can tag on. Without the tag on hit, it's totally safe. The high ender does the same damage as Ultra, but the low ender is a bit stronger. With no ender, it's +3 on hit, and you can actually link out of it, mirroring her light Tsumuji links from Ultra. Heavy Tsumuji has the same startup as medium, but it's stronger. And it's more unsafe on block, even if you do it with no ender. For both medium and heavy, doing the low enders is much more unsafe on block. I couldn't find any differences with EX, other than the low hits being stronger. Medium Kazakiri is now fully invincible, and it's faster. The light and heavy ones are unthrowable, but not invincible to hits. No meterless version of Kazakiri can be FADC'd on block. Curiously, you can still super cancel them on block, but the timing is crazy hard. I think you can only input the attack button on a single frame. It might be easier if you just piano every kick. Ibuki's super is safe, and the chip is quite good. EX Kazakiri no longer gives you a kunai follow-up on block, so there's no mix-up to make it safe like there was in Ultra. You can still FADC it on block since you're spending 3 bars. On hit, the damage is a bit higher, and the animation is new. It also has more range and faster startup, which allows it to beat many safe jumps, not that people safe jump in Omega. All the riders do way more damage at 180, and they're now throw invincible for some reason. The EX one does 200 damage, comes out really fast, and takes a big step forward as a new first hit. SF5 veterans will recognize this as her EX Rida in that game, but it actually debuted in Omega. It has more juggle potential than the non-EX versions. Neckbreaker had its stun and damage buff to compensate for losing the ensuing mix-up. They do a rather impressive 300 stun, 350 for the EX version. The EX one still beats fireballs, naturally. Hien doesn't travel as far, and it now knocks down. You can still cancel it to kunai, and I guess you would since it's free chip if they quick stand. On block it looks quite unsafe. But maybe the kunai can protect you, I don't know. Yosumi Gake, Ibuki's dash, now goes through projectiles for the light and medium versions. Amusingly, you can super cancel it, which can give you a point-blank super. It might be useful for something, but for every setup I can find, the heavy super hits without needing the dash at all. Ibuki's Tsuchigoya was horribly useless in Ultra. And honestly in Third Strike too. In this game it still seems bad, but you can do normals on the way down. This gives you a mix-up very much like Super Turbo Chun-Li, where your hard punch can hit on the front or the back, and it's hard to tell which. Ibuki has one new special move, Kaganui, done with reverse DP plus punch. It's a ground kunai toss that would later return in SF5. On hit it's +3, and you can both cancel into it and link out of it quite easily. On block it's 0. Ibuki has 3-frame normals which she can buffer here. But the opponent has to hit reversal timing on a 3-frame normal to even trade. Because of this, Ibuki can actually get some really oppressive pressure on block here, This is actually an astonishingly good special move both on hit and block due to how generally spammable it is. The punch you use determines the range and nothing else. No version goes further than half screen. The EX version of this move costs 2 bars, and the animation is her Yamashigura super from Third Strike. The damage is fantastic, and the knockdown is extremely long, giving Ibuki her meaty mix-ups from Ultra. Generally, landing this is Ibuki's best 2-bar route, and she's able to hit around 400 damage, as is typical in Omega. Ibuki's super is now done with kick, which removes some input overlap. It now has a ground version where she'll manually jump into an instant air super. This is very good for consistency, but also gives you some new routes into it, for example from Sumuji. In Ultra, you couldn't use super as a reversal since it's mid-air only, but here in Omega it's invincible and safe, making it a fine wake-up option. As usual, the super's damage has been massively increased, but Ibuki doesn't have a great special move to go through, as such her max damage stuff isn't super high. Ultra 1 is still jumpable, and still has the awkward half-circle motion, unlike Guy's similar Ultra. It's 1-frame startup, so it's still good for punishing, but she has no combos into the grab version that I can see, besides focus. The fireball is comboable here and there, but it does terrible damage. You can still land Ultra 2 from everything thanks to the jump cancels, and it's still good at punishing fireballs. I can't envision a world where you're using Ultra 1 for this character unless you really need a specific 1-frame punish. It's really hard for me to compare this version of Ibuki to her Ultra version. Ibuki is one of the most broken characters in SF4, not so much for how good she is, though she is strong, but more so for how laser focused she is at exploiting the Okizeme mechanics of the game. Several sweeping mechanical changes seem to be targeting her specifically, most notably the delayed wake-up mechanic of Ultra. This Ibuki is nothing like that one, and feels more like your SF5 version, hammering the opponent with good neutral buttons, plus frame attacks, and an instant air kunai which is quite tricky to anti-air. She feels a lot more like a normal character, and to me at least she's much more fun.